Hello everybody, welcome to another 1 versus 1 Red Alert matchup here on the top left hand side of Arena Valley. We've got your friend Pharowizard, the yellow player, and well, on the bottom right hand side we've got Radux playing the Soviets and Pharowizard playing the Allies. So we're going to be seeing Allies versus Soviets game. Both players hanging out in my chat right now at twitch.tv/YamatoSpecial. And well, come hang out with us sometime. We're having a lot of fun here, casting some games, hanging out. Got a great Red Alert community. So thanks for everybody for hanging out and watching. So let's see what happens here in this game. Pharowizard moving out with a heavy rifle force here. Going to go ahead and get that scout as we typically see. Currently this is Pharowizard's vision here in the top right in the mini-map. Getting that refinery down, going for those gems. Love to see that. Radux creeping up here towards the well, the patch that everybody goes for at the beginning of this map here. Going to go ahead and get those gems as well. So both players going to go ahead and work on that eco pretty hard here. Got a silo coming down already from Radux. Probably going to be creeping over here to the side, doing the creep. Trying to maybe put a refinery down over here, go for the gems as well. Let's see if that's what he ends up doing with that. And well, let's see what Radux's vision currently looks like, getting the scouting in. Both players knowing exactly where each other is, top left, bottom right. And Radux pushing with a single unit, pretty interesting here, trying to get the scout on Pharaoh's base. If this one unit gets taken out though, it's going to be a lot of time lost trying to get something else in there, unless he rushes in with a tank, so we'll see how that happens. What happens there. Pharowizard taking the top right, bottom left approach here and saying, forget it, I don't need to scout the base. I know it's coming. It's going to be a tank game. But sneaky Radux here has got a lot of rifle units, so we'll see what he does there. 2 war factories down for Pharowizard, pushing out his first light tank, I believe. Maybe be using that for a scout, not quite sure. Radux opting to go for the eco game, pushing out a harvester here first. Currently 1 refinery and 1 refinery each, both with 2 trucks. So let's see what happens here. Pharaoh building the light tanks, and another light tank coming out there. So Radux having a second war factory down. So both players 2 war factories. Radux, of course, building the classic heavy tank. And well, we'll see how this ends up going. Pharowizard pushing out here with his light tanks. We'll see what he decides to first go for. I imagine might be coming around here and harassing some of these harvesters, I imagine. But we'll see what he decides. Radux here pushing in. We're going to see our first little engagement here. Radux trying to squeeze on by that rifle infantry line and see if he can get any scouting information, but he's going to go ahead and get denied by Pharowizard, just sitting there doing nothing, shooting guys. Ducks in a barrel. And Pharowizard coming down here with the light tanks. Let's see what happens. Going to start probably putting some hits there on the harvester. It definitely is. Radux seeing this, responding right away, and going to go ahead and start focus firing down these light tanks. Pharowizard smartly pushing back and getting away. And well, we'll see what happens here with the tanks. Probably going to swoop around, go for the other side. Radux is ready though with three tanks here, and was going to be pushing Pharowizard away again. Pharaoh trying to probably just get some scouting information here, going across the map, trying to see everything he possibly can. And well, Pharaoh, you know, coming down with a whole lot more tanks, and definitely not an all-in situation, but you know, pushing all of his units down here. So we'll see what happens. Radux currently seeing this the whole way down. Pharaoh deciding to come back here. Could have possibly maybe split some of these tanks up and gone right towards the base. The heavy tanks are going to be doing, again, a lot more DPS than these small tanks. Pharaoh, I don't know if I would necessarily take on these many heavy tanks with the small tanks, but hey, if you micro them well enough, anything could happen. And let's see how this ends up here. Looks like Radux pushing back here and using that Q move. You can see firing while he's moving, and both players, well, doing a great job here. Radux reinforcing though, so going to be able to clean this up pretty easily for the most part. Going to be able to run all these infantry over unless Pharaoh does the scatter command, which he probably will. See what happens though. It looks like Pharaoh deciding to go ahead and push forward, see if he can make it over to Radux's base. Radux trying to squish as many of these guys as possible. Pharaoh picking away at the Harvester here, trying to do a little bit of damage, hopefully macroing behind this, definitely pumping out more light tanks. He has more coming down here. So Pharaoh's going to have to really quickly get into the base here and start pecking away at these buildings. Otherwise, I wouldn't agree with bringing these tanks down. Maybe these tanks could be going after the Harvesters. Definitely maybe splitting it up and, you know, trying to make it hard for Radux to handle multiple battles on both fronts. But yeah, definitely challenging trying to micro many things at once. So we'll see how this plays out here. It looks like Radux, though, splitting his units and going to go ahead and send some of those to the top left. I imagine we can see, based on where the turrets are looking here, it's kind of a dead giveaway. Going to be pushing that up there to Pharaoh's base, splitting it up. Radux definitely having enough tanks here back at home to you know, clean these tanks up, so he's not going to be too worried. So we'll see what Pharaoh can do here. 3 light tanks aren't going to be taking a building down too quickly, but they can definitely do some damage, forcing Radux to go ahead and do the repair. Radux, if he doesn't have any money, won't be able to repair and could easily lose the building, but the tank's not going to be able to do too much here. Again, Radux having a lot of forces here. Pharowizard here with some tanks back home sees this push. Definitely going to try and stop the train from hitting the tracks here. And, well, he's going to go ahead and push Radux back, but Radux is going to be pushing out with a lot of his tanks and probably likely going to be pushing this all the way up to Pharaoh's base, I imagine. Falling back a little bit here. Pharowizard continuing to build the small tanks, rather, excuse me. And we'll see how this fares out for Pharaoh, no pun intended. Radux moving up here. Pharaoh seeing this and coming back. Let's see if Pharaoh may be placing any static defenses. No, he isn't. A couple pillboxes might help here. He does have some money, and we are again limited to only building 1 tank at a time, so maybe using some of that money for some static defense, just doing whatever he can. But we'll see how the battle goes. The tanks meeting up here just right outside of the ore and gem field, and just a tank cluster F really going on here. We'll see who wins. And yeah, both players trying to micro down and focus fire the tanks as best they can. Looks like everybody's just kind of scattered everywhere. A lot of tanks in the red, so hopefully we can focus those down. And interesting to see light tanks versus heavy tanks here. Looks like relatively even. Radux continuing to move up the map here, reinforcing with everything he can. Gonna try to pick off Pharaoh's units here. Let's see what happens though. Pharaoh hanging in this game. Radux going for the ore trucks as well. Trying to focus down the tanks and the ore truck. Ore truck, of course, if Radux can get those, he can kill the economy of Pharaoh, and then it's kind of a GG situation at that point. But we'll see what Pharaoh can do here. Definitely going to be outnumbering the tanks now. So now Pharaoh has to make a decision. Am I going to build tanks, or am I going to try to get a couple ore trucks out and continue mining? Unfortunately, he's got some distance here between him, his ore refinery and the patches. So if he does decide to go for trucks, he's definitely going to be distance mining, unless he starts maybe building a couple power plants and getting closer here. But of course, that would mean he would need to build another ore refinery as well. Radux here pushing up with his heavy tanks. Pharaoh trying to fall back and negate this. Radux kind of sitting here with some tanks of his own, probably trying to negate any attacks that Pharaoh decides to do. Pharaoh not choosing to go for the base race situation, wants to try to clean these tanks up. Radux going for the power, trying to deny any more production here. Pharowizard currently with $2, so I guess it's not going to make too much of a difference. Pharaoh's going to be able to clean this up though, luckily, and well, he's going to be forced to push down to Radux's base. Radux, of course, knowing this, continuing to build the heavy tanks. So we'll see how this plays out here. Pharaoh knows this is his final push. Radux, of course, seeing this coming the whole time here with that map vision, both players being able to see a lot of the map, so you can see how beneficial it is to scout. And, well, Pharaoh has to be very careful here. He could go for a base trade situation, but Radux playing it pretty smart, coming back here, defending, doesn't want to let anything by. Pharaoh making a lot more headway into Radux's base, and Radux making into Pharaoh's, I guess. But of course, Radux having the more DPS, and we can see here Pharaoh GG's out, sees that he gets caught here, and he's not going to be able to run away in time and have enough firepower. So GG's out. But GG's to both players, and congrats to Radux for taking that game here on Arena Valley. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys here on the next one.